Hello, all. This is David Martin, psychotherapist and LMFT with Illuminated Pathways, here with another video for you all. I'm doing part two of my series on gun violence, and I wanted to focus specifically on gun violence and mental health. And this one's entitled The Trauma Beneath the Trigger. So let me tell you all a story. A few years ago, I worked with a young man who everyone described the same way: angry, explosive, unpredictable. Teachers saw him as defiant, peers saw him aggressive, the family saw him as a danger. But when I sat with him long enough, what I didn't see was anger. I saw fear. I saw a nervous system that never felt safe. I saw trauma that had never been processed. I saw anxiety so intense it came out sideways. I saw depression masked as irritability. And here's what we don't talk about enough: anger is often a secondary emotion, it protects something deeper. If we want to meaningfully address gun violence, we have to talk about what lies underneath the rage. Today, I want to go deeper into the mental health side of this conversation: the trauma, the untreated anxiety, the depression, the isolation, and more importantly, what we can actually do about it. So, what's missing in the conversation? Most people struggling with mental health are not violent, but untreated trauma and access to lethal means emotional dysregulation and increased risk. Key points to remember: trauma rewires the brain, and that is specifically the amygdala hyperactivation part of the brain. Chronic stress keeps the nervous system in survival mode. Depression can create hopelessness. Anxiety can create hypervigilance. Shame can turn outward as aggression. Isolation removes protective buffers. Violence is rarely about one bad decision. It's often about a long history of unprocessed pain. The root of anger. It may look like rage, defiance, threats, obsession with revenge. It may actually be powerlessness, humiliation, grief, traumatic memories, and chronic nervous system overload. When someone feels chronically unsafe, they look for control. Sometimes that control becomes destructive. The mental health symptoms beneath violence. The trauma piece, let's talk about that. Childhood abuse, community violence exposure, right? If that's part of your community, right? And that's how you defend yourself and that's how you express yourself and all those pieces of it, that's what you're going to experience. Bullying, neglect, loss, depression, hopelessness, suicidal ideation, and the belief of nothing matters anyway. The anxiety component, constant threat scanning, catastrophic thinking, overreaction. And then often with that is when dealing with those mental health symptoms is substance use, numbing, which also includes increased impulsivity with substance use. We don't excuse the behavior, but we do need to understand it if we want to prevent it. So how do we actually treat the trauma, right? Because oftentimes I've folks come to me and they'll go, "I want anger management." The anger management only skirts the surface of the problem, right? it's usually a deeper dive into the trauma, right? The root cause. So let's look at how we treat it. So what I use specifically in my practice is EMDR therapy. And there's some other trauma therapies I'm going to cover here. But EMDR therapy is eye movement desensitization and reprocessing. So that involves bilateral stimulation, reprocessing traumatic memories, reducing emotional intensity, restoring adaptive beliefs, and that belief being, for some people, I am safe now. There's also trauma-focused CBT or cognitive behavioral therapy. So in that modality, we identify distorted thinking. We build coping skills. Um, we do gradual exposure. We do emotional labeling. There are somatic therapies, which include nervous system regulation, body awareness, breath work, and releasing stored tension. And then there's also family systems therapy, of which I also do in my practice with couples and families, and the family as a whole. We change relational patterns and those dysfunctional patterns of interaction. We repair attachment wounds. We teach de-escalation, modeling regulation, just to name a few. And then we also there's another modality of therapy called DBT, skill-based approach DBT, which works on distress tolerance, emotional regulation, and interpersonal effectiveness. Prevention is not about reacting to a crisis. It's about regulating nervous systems before they break. So you may be asking, what can families do right now? And this is so important. This is key. This is so key because what happens is that oftentimes I get children or kids or teenagers that come to me, right? And this is already whenever things have blown way up out of proportion, or I have older clients that come to me that should have had this a long time ago when they were kids, right? When they were younger. The early intervention piece is huge in this, right? Uh, so let's talk about what families can do right now. So don't ignore chronic anger in kids, right? Pay attention to withdrawal. Ask directly about hopelessness, because this is the big piece of this, folks. Oftentimes in these situations, clients lose hope, families lose hope. If there's no hope, then this really makes this a difficult situation to try to remedy. Remove shame from mental health conversations. Seek therapy early. As soon as you start seeing some warning signs, jump on it and get it taken care of. Limit access to lethal means during high stress periods. Develop a reasonable, respectful safety plan around firearms. Create emotional safety at home. So, in other words, again, promote an environment where folks can express their emotions in an effective way, in a safe way, without any kind of backlash or uh, negative reactivity to it or shutting it down. Make it acceptable. Therapy is not weakness, it's maintenance for the nervous system. So, if we truly want to reduce violence, we cannot only focus on the moment of harm. We can't be just thinking, oh, wait till it blows up or be putting out fires. We have to focus on the years of pain that came before it, right? This is a generational thing. This is generational trauma, generational beliefs, generational ways of coping that get passed from one generation to the next. Will you be the generational curse breaker, right? Will you be, at this point in time, the person in your family that helps break that generational pattern? We have to treat trauma. We have to treat depression. We have to treat anxiety. We have to rebuild connection. Violence isn't often the final chapter of a long story of unaddressed suffering. Let's start intervening early in the story. If this conversation matters to you, share this video, like, subscribe, and share it with someone who may benefit. And let's keep talking about the root, not just the headline. So again, this is David Martin signing off, psychotherapist and LMFT with Illuminated Pathways, here with another video for you all. And if you'd like to leave some comments, please do so in the comment section below. Please share this with someone who may benefit from it. Also, you can check out my contact information on there and the things that I do in my practice here in northern Florida, Jacksonville, Florida, especially West Jacksonville and Orange Park locations. If you're interested in the work I do, please check me out. If you go to my website, you can sign up for a free complimentary 20 to 30-minute consultation call with me, and we can talk about how I may help you. Uh, please check it out. And again, I hope this video helps you all, and I'll see you all the next time.